This video is kind of an end of the year video for me, where I'm going to just review what I've done on my channel over the year 2025. And of course, I had a few series that I had been working on. One is my game collection, which I set up in, 4 or 5 minute videos set to popular music. And I continued those, and I also did another series on reviewing my entire magazine game collection, about 5 issues at a time. That's still ongoing, but I got a lot of those done this year. And I did a couple of videos about games that I designed myself that are not published. I just did them for myself. Some using the States of Siege system. Others were sports simulations about baseball in particular. But I did mostly a lot of coverage of war games and sports games. So I'm going to go through what I covered in the year 2025. If you're interested in any of them, you can go back and look at some of these videos. But at the beginning of the year, I finished up a series that I had started in 2024. Covering some of the details about Guderian's Blitzkrieg. This is from the Gamers, and this is Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2, so it's the updated system, and from the Operational Combat series. And this has a lot of scenarios in it. I just played a small one and did some recapping as like an after-action report, and I talked a little bit about game mechanics in them. Then I did a little bit of work with this, Wilson's Creek. It is part of the, it's a mini game from Decision Games using the Musket and Saber series simplified, which I would recommend when playing Musket and Saber. I think the simplified rules are a little bit better than the original ones. But I did an after-action report replay on Wilson's Creek. I also did one on another Decision Games game, Khyber Rifles, which this is the activity between the British and the Afghanis in 1842. And this uses I'm trying to remember the name of the system that this uses. It's a Hand of Destiny is what it was called. So I believe this is 2-player, and so each side has their own small deck of cards. But I did a replay of that game. I also covered this one from the Fire and Movement folio games from Decision Games. This is called Kasserine, and it's on the Battle of Kasserine Pass in Tunisia in, I think it was 1943, 42 or 3, I can't remember which. Anyway, I did a replay on it, and I talked a little bit about some of the things in the Fire and Movement system. I also did this one from the same system. This is Arnhem, and this game covers that part, that the final stage of the Bridge Too Far, and in Operation Market Garden. And I think when I played this, I used rules from the original folio and I used the game specific rules from the original folio, but the Fire and Movement rules to play it. So that video can be found on my channel this year. Another game that I covered is Oil War. I don't actually have the magazine for this, but this is Oil War Iran Strikes. It is from the Modern War magazine issue number 2. And so I did a little bit of an after-action report replay of this game and went through some of the features of it. Then I covered this game. This is DAC 2 from the Gamers. It's part of the Operational Combat series, and I think I did a small section or scenario from this game which lends itself to that. Otherwise, you can take up 10 feet in map space. And I typically cover some of the OCS rules. I have a few videos dealing with, use of aircraft and artillery and different things in the OCS system that kind of makes it unique. So you can find that in my 2025 videos. I also did a replay with some highlights from 3 battles of Manassas, and I believe the one that I did was the first Bull Run. So that's an interesting battle to take a look at. And of course, the Civil War Brigade series had to be adapted a little bit for the command structure at first Manassas, which is very early before it completely developed. I also was able to take a look at this old game from Wargamer number 59, Bloody Karen. So this is 1941 East Africa action in Ethiopia. And so I really like this game. I know there's another game from Revolution Games, I think, called Karen. I like this game better for whatever reason. And I also did another Standard Combat Series game. This one is called Day of Days. Your mileage may vary with this one, but it's a huge game, but it does break it up if you want to do Omaha Beach or Utah Beach or Sword, Gold, and Juneau. Or you can play the whole campaign, but it uses the Standard Combat Series system. I think it stretches it a little bit using it here, and I did a replay of the Utah Beach scenario where I could follow the action of Easy Company from Band of Brothers. So I enjoyed it. Take a look if this interests you. Continuing on, I did a fairly a number of videos on this. I played a complete campaign of Axis Empire's Totaler Krieg, and I also played out simultaneously Axis Empire's Die Senso. Now, I did not play a combined game. I played the games basically separately and did simultaneous replay after action reports on them. So that was quite an undertaking, but I was able to cover that on my channel this year. I also took a look at a strategy and tactics number 249, Napoleon in Egypt. It's a very much an operational level game, moving almost towards strategic, where Napoleon is achieving a number of things in Egypt in the late 1700s. I also did coverage on 2 games from this. This is Strategy and Tactics number 226, Middle East Battles, the Sinai campaigns of 1956 and 1967. So I did a replay report on Suez 56 from this game, and I also did one on El Arish 1967 from this. So there's a couple or several videos on that there. I also looked at this game from Clash of Arms, which I really like. It has beautiful maps and components. The game is okay. It's the Peloponnesian War, the epic of the Peloponnesian War. And what I did in my video is I made my own homemade scenario for, I think it was from Marathon. I did the Battle of Marathon and a little small campaign around that, kind of showing how that battle gets set up, and I used the combat system to resolve it. So that video is on my channel also in 2025. I also did a fairly extensive detailed replay of Drive on Paris. So this is the Schlieffen plan as presented in Standard Combat Series by the gamers. There's numerous videos on that. I also had some coverage of this magazine game from S&T 176, Blood on the Tigris. This is the campaign in Iraq in World War I, and there's some fairly detailed coverage that I gave to that game. I also looked at 2 other games. This is from the Cold War Battles series. This is from S&T number 263. I don't actually have the magazine, only the 2 games, but I covered Wurzburg Potomac, which is a hypothetical scenario in Germany during the Cold War, and I did Kabul 79 as a scenario as well. So that's all on my channel for this year. I also looked at another Civil War Brigade series game, Seven Pines, which is a game that connects up with the 7 Days battles, which there are 3 games in that. Malvern Hill, Seven Pines, and one other one. Can't remember the title of it. And then finally, I did this game, a replay of War of the Ring. I have a number of different versions of this, but I was able to do just kind of an overview of how my playthrough went when I did that on my video. I covered this game with a replay. This is called Breaking Teeth. It's a Spanish Civil War battle from High Flying Dice. That's a series that you play with a deck of playing cards to get your results and your initiatives. I also did a replay of the 1912 Balkan War from S&T number 164. I took a close look at some of the special effects and a little bit of a replay of A Frozen Hell, which is a Finnish, Winter War battle that the gamers covered in the Tactical Combat series. Very good game, and you can get it in the secondhand market quite affordably. I also took a look at Command Issue number 6, which is Crim. It's a battle in 1941 in Crimea, and very simple TIE bomber game, but I was able to play that out and put a little bit of coverage as a replay video. And then I also did a scenario from Panzer Grenadier out of Eastern Front, which covers a lot of the, a lot of battles, little, segments of battles that occurred, in 1941 in particular, during the early days of Operation Barbarossa. And this one here is Matanikau, and this is a Guadalcanal battle that the gamers covered in the Tactical Combat series. So I have a very short look into part of a replay, as well as some of the special rules in this game, Matanikau, from Tactical Combat series by the gamers. And then there were a few other things I covered on my channel. This is Pay Dirt, Sports Illustrated Football, which I have a number of seasons from, as well as some of the college seasons, which is basically bowl bound. It's the same Sports Illustrated system. And I just reviewed a little bit, a couple of the team charts, just for nostalgia. I did something similar with this game, Status Pro Basketball. I just looked at some of the players that from my, youth that I remembered. I did a little bit of work on Status Pro Baseball. I think I have a couple of replays of entire games that I went through, just a quick run through. And I think I may have looked at a few of the cards as well. I also did a replay video on S&T number 239 Winged Horse, which basically is, Vietnam in 1965 and part of 1966, which very good game by Joe Miranda. It really expands quite well upon the Year of the Rat game that John Prados did back in the early 70s. I also did quite a few scenarios out of this game on Norman Conquests, which is part of the Men of Iron series, and as well, I looked at a number from this companion game, also from Men of Iron series. It's called Infidel, which covers a number of battles in the Crusades. So overall, I got quite a bit done on my channel this year, plus some miscellaneous topics on there as well. And if you haven't checked out some of these videos, they're certainly available to take a look at. And I thank you for watching, and hopefully 2026 will be another great year of gaming. Have a great day.